r/ask Reddit what is something society considers to be bad but really is no caught. Also make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Admitting you don't know something. Or, on a related note, changing your mind in the face of new information. Failing. Failing does not mean you are a failure. Just means you tried something and it didn't work out right. It is very possible that those who never failed also never tried is true. Trying is the first step towards failure, Homer Simpson. Sucking at stuff is the first step to being kinda good at stuff, Jake the dog. You can only pick one. Edit, you can pick more than one XO. Having disagreements. Totally normally to disagree with people. Idako's even more normal to disagree with your friends and still remain friends. Having disagreements. Totally normally to disagree with people. Idako's even more normal to disagree with your friends and still remain friends. I think many people lack the skills necessary to disagree without torching their relationships. Like, you can dislike something a friend loves without telling them they have shit taste, or that the thing they love is garbage. You can joke with a friend for liking a dumb thing without actually hurting their feelings. You just have to actually care about the way your words make the people around you feel, and not expect your relationships with people to ride in a completely separate layer from your conduct with people. A lot of people seem to just want to be nasty and have everyone else forget about it. Politicians changing their minds when presented with new information. I agree, I think this would change the political landscape and subsequently society for the better. You don't really move forward when you cannot change your mind or are afraid you'll be shamed if you do change your mind. Doing nothing with my free time. I work and have chores. When I don't have those things, I don't feel like hiking or scuba diving or anything. I want to do nothing. Leave me alone. I read recently that not having hobbies was a red flag for relationships, in another Reddit thread. If you have work and life absorbs a lot of time, letting your brain just run in gear is quite nice. In my case, I walk everywhere and live in the countryside. It takes lots of time just to do things. The countryside is beautiful. Walking is nice and allows me to think. But it isn't really a hobby. Doing things, like going to a restaurant, alone. Edit, thanks for the awards. Going to the bar would fit here. Nothing wrong with eating or drinking alone. Admitting you were wrong. Add to this. Changing your mind. We're all often wrong, and having the ability to change your mind in response to new information or perspective is not the same as indecision or hypocrisy. A lot of people are quick to call you fake if you're polite to those you dislike. It's not being fake, it's being civil. You're supposed to treat everyone like a person even if you dislike them. How is that news to people? Sticking around through hard times. Sometimes it's not toxic, people are just flailing cause they need help, and if you help you may find a very loyal and worthwhile relationship. So true. A problem that is fixable should be worked on because it might lead to something truly good. However, there are some unfixable ones, domestic abuse, for example, that you need to bail out on. Not working 24/7 or participating in the Octusal culture. This is probably the biggest scam ever. I work 6 hours a day and I'm successful. I work for myself too. The only thing that matters is what you do with the time you're working. I remember there was a post somewhere about hustle culture and the guy posted something along the lines of, "Getting up early is the biggest bullshit ever invented by the hustle community, the only thing that matters is what you do with the time that you're awake." I don't participate in hustle culture. I have a long weekend every other weekend. I travel whenever the fuck I feel like it, because I can. Never am I worried about skipping a day. Being alone. I guess it depends on how the person feels about being alone. Poverty. Have you noticed how most people treat those who make little money? Yes, there are some hardcore slackers who don't want to work, but most people work their asses off to make a living, and it's not because of laziness, but because of social or health reasons. It is worth remembering that one day you make fun of the poor, and the next day you are begging for your own bread. Be kind. Well, poverty is bad because no one should have to live in poverty, but classism is a very real thing. This comment should be higher up. No one should be treated as if they are lesser or lazy because they are not wealthy. Hard work equals wealth. Waking up late. But getting a few more hours sleep is far more beneficial than some YouTube hustler saying you should wake up at 5 a.m. for no reason. I'm a night owl. If I could pick my sleep schedule and always stick to it, I'd sleep from like 1 or 2 a.m. to like 10 a.m.-ish. It's my sweet spot. Talking to yourself. I've done this for the past 13 to 15 years, out loud, in English. English is not my first language, and Idako's helped me improve so much my accent and speaking skills. One example of something that society considers to be bad but is not inherently so is aging. While aging is often associated with decline and loss, it can also bring wisdom, maturity, and a greater appreciation for life. It is often how society views aging and the cultural attitudes toward the elderly that are negative, not the process itself. Old age is a privilege denied to many. Taking things that have been discarded but are perfectly good. Dumpster diving is such a treasure trove. Check your state and local laws, but Idako's usually perfectly legal to take things out of the garbage. I once found a whole ass wheelchair in a dumpster, perfectly functional. You wanna clean that stuff, but usually not that big a hassle, and bam, saved my friend a lot of money when they needed one. In my experience, some people see not being close with your family as a red flag. Not sure why. Sorry. I didn't get to pick my family. LOL. Oh. I'm sorry. Did my abusive family throw you off? Did they seem nice when they decided to show up unannounced and poke around to destroy a whole life I've been trying to get away from them, and now we have to move out again for no apparent reason? Skilled labor or working in the trades. Mental health care. Not having kids if you don't want them. Having kids you don't want is bad. As a parent of 3 young kids, absolutely. If you do not want them or are unprepared for them, do not have them. There is a saying that there is never a right time to have kids, but I disagree wholeheartedly. Not saying you have to be perfectly in order, but there are times one will be more ready than others. I'm typing this as I wait for my youngest child to finish shitting his pants so I can clean him up. I actively wanted this for my life. I cannot imagine going through this if I did not. I know it is super complicated because it is not always planned, but people who have planned children because of pressure and then are subpar parent socks, it really bothers me. More now that I have my own than it did before. Using social services. It is what they are there for, and you help pay for them. Asking for help. Talk about your salary. This literally just exists so that the working class doesn't talk about unbalanced wages and starts to question their bosses. I was just telling this to my partner the other day and people go along with it all the time. A huge amount of my co-workers are extremely secretive about their wage, but still want to pry about others. Talking about salary. Thank you. I will never understand the taboo of discussing salary. I'm not a private person when it comes to how much I make. I never had a problem discussing it, especially with people looking to get into IT. It helps them gauge what they'll make when they're just starting out, versus what you can make 10 plus years down the road if you put in the work. Not tipping workers who do basic stuff like handing me a cup of coffee or a takeout bag. Idako's okay to not want to pay 20% for just handing me stuff I bought. This was on the morning show I was listening to this morning after I got out of work. Companies literally just adding tip lines because people will do it without thinking, because they've been conditioned to feel bad for not tipping. Before long every fast food place will do this garbage. Showing affection. Growing up in an Asian household, I can confirm how true this is. My parents hardly show any form of affection or skinship, and this goes for all of our family, including the relatives and their relatives. I didn't realize how important this was until the end of high school, when I went to my friend's family and saw them being openly affectionate. The environment I brought up considered showing affection as something that's only meant through providing everything to each other, rather than openly displaying it or not. When you need to cry, you're asked to cope instead. And all kinds of affection was masked under the name of discipline. It's weird. After all these years, if my parents were to be affectionate to me now, I find it extremely awkward. And this has affected me in real life too. I hate any sorts of affection or consideration that's displayed to me. It makes me feel like people are doing it, because they need back a favor in return. I'm always suspicious of people who shows it. Feels like that kindness demands something of me. Short people. Message. Message, makes shit good. Sensitive straight guys. Turk and JD taught me the value of guy love a long time ago. In America, still living with your parents in your later 20s or into your 30s. If you are working hard and helping out a dent in a few bills, I don't see the issue. Still living with your parents period. I'm 21 and feel weird living with parents, but I don't feel like working my ass off for rent while in school. And at older ages I think it should be understandable to take care of your family. Being single. I cannot stand any more do you have a girlfriend yet? OCL questions, they drive me nuts. Critical thinking. Mental health care. People want to pretend if you just ignore mental health problems, they will go away. Does cancer go away if you ignore it? Talking about nightmares/suicidal thoughts. Oh, don't say that. Talking about periods. Right? We all excrete the same blue liquid every month. Let a coast chat. Not being married or having children by a certain age. Dedicating time to yourself for self-care, mental health, and overall well-being. For some reason people think that goes wrong and that you should work until you die. The whole live to work concept is daunting. Providing help to pedophiles so they don't commit crimes. There's a fantastic episode of This American Life called Help Wanted, https://www.thisamericanlife.org/522/charred-and-feathered/act-2-0, in which the story revolves around pedophiles who support and help each other to ensure they don't act out on their instincts. Pedophiles know it's wrong. It's acting out on those bad desires that needs to be chastised. Knowledge, apparently. Seems like educating others and speaking on a topic you are certified to speak in is an offense to them somehow, so they think you're speaking down to them if you disagree with them. Piracy for incredibly old movies/games etc. If it's no longer available, then it should be encouraged if anything. Not going to college. Assisted suicide. If your pet does not have a good prognosis, your vet will recommend putting them to sleep. Why do we make humans suffer to the bitter end? Sure, we give them medicine to make them comfortable, but why extend that time frame if they nothing left to do? They made their will, they said goodbye, now they wait and run up a bill for their family to pay. If you have terminal illness, you should be able to die with dignity. GMOs. If we want to feed 9+ billion people without destroying the earth, and exacerbating the 6th mass extinction, we are going to need GMOs. The only thing I hate about some GMOs is the companies that manufacture them to be sterile or something, so you can't use the seeds from the crop and have to buy new ones. A lack of professional ambition. Cutting off your parents/family if they're toxic. Being shy or quiet. Being comfortable and happy being alone.